Okay, so today we're diving into something that feels like it was ripped straight from today's headlines, but it's actually an ancient story from the Bible. It's this incredible journey from total collapse, a society rotting from the inside out, to this amazing source of strength. We're going to connect two powerful ideas: Ezekiel's wild vision of dry bones and this intense call to endurance from the book of Hebrews. It's quite a ride. So let me ask you this, and just think about it for a second. Have you ever read something in the Bible and thought, wait a minute, is this talking about us right now? Because there's this one part, this one diagnosis that sounds so much like our world today. And the wild part is, the rot doesn't start where you'd think. It's not about the big, obvious stuff. It starts with losing something really essential. And here it is. This is the heart of the problem. You'd think God's first complaint in Ezekiel 22 would be about crime or corruption, right? But nope, he goes straight to the spiritual root. He says they've lost the ability to tell the difference between what's sacred and what's, well, just common. And once a culture can't see that line anymore, it's not like a sudden crash. It's more like a slow, quiet, and really dangerous slide into chaos. Yeah, it happens step by step, which is why it's so sneaky. Think about it. First, we just tolerate things that used to make us uneasy. Then, before you know it, those unthinkable things become normal. And by the end of it, we can't even tell the difference anymore between what's good and what's not. The whole society can look fine, maybe even religious, but underneath, it's already collapsed. And God has this perfect metaphor for it. He talks about weak mortar. It's like a spiritual paint job. It's all those attractive words and motivational speeches that make everything look great on the surface, but they're just covering up these deep structural cracks. It's all hope and no substance. The wall looks shiny and new, but one good push and the whole thing is coming down. And then we get to what might be the most heartbreaking line in the whole chapter. I mean, just picture this. God himself is literally searching, looking for just one person, anyone, someone willing to stand in the gap and push back against this decay. And he finds no one. Nothing but silence. It's just a chilling thought, right? That a society really starts to fall apart when good people stop taking a stand. Okay, so that's a pretty bleak diagnosis for a whole culture. But let's bring it back to you and me. What happens if you decide you want to be that person who stands in the gap? You'd think life would get easier, right? But so often, it gets harder. It can feel like the closer you get to God, the more you suffer. And if that sounds familiar, listen up. What you're going through might not be punishment at all. It might actually be preparation. This is what we're talking about, the furnace. See, the tough times God's people go through, it's not about punishment. It's about purification. You don't put gold in a furnace to destroy it, right? You do it to burn away the junk. So when God calls you to something, he doesn't just point you in a direction. He gets you ready. And yeah, that process, that molding, it can really hurt. It has to break down our pride and get us moving. So it's absolutely crucial to get the difference here. Punishment, that's meant to condemn you. It pushes you away from God. But loving discipline, that's totally different. That's what Hebrews talks about. It's designed to correct you, to make you better, to pull you closer. One is a dead end. The other is basically training camp for your real purpose. And Hebrews just lays it out so clearly. This verse is amazing. It basically says that correction is a sign that you're loved, that you're accepted as one of his own. It's not rejection. So if you're in that furnace right now, this is huge. It doesn't mean you've been abandoned. In fact, it might mean the exact opposite, that you're being treated like a true son or daughter, getting ready for what's coming. And this is a game changer. You have to get this. God isn't looking for people who already have it all together. He doesn't choose the qualified. He qualifies the people he chooses. And how does he do it? Through that furnace. That tough, refining process is literally the tool he uses to make you ready. He's using the pressure to bring out something in you that you never even knew was there. But okay, let's take this to the absolute extreme. What happens when it's not just a few cracks in the wall? What happens when the whole thing has crumbled into dust? When the spiritual decay is so total that all you've got left is death? I'm talking about a valley filled with dry, scattered bones. That's the vision God gives Ezekiel, and it's about as hopeless as it gets. And right there, in the middle of all that death and hopelessness, God asks this just wild question. He looks at Ezekiel and says, "Son of man, can these bones live?" I mean, come on, the answer's obviously no, right? Bones don't just get up and walk around. But that's the point. The question has nothing to do with what's humanly possible. It's all about what he can do. So what happens next is just mind-blowing. First, God tells Ezekiel, "Speak to the bones." So he does. And as the words go out, you hear this crazy rattling sound all over the valley as bones start finding their match, clicking together, forming skeletons. Then God calls for his spirit, his breath, to come and fill them. And just like that, a field of death becomes a massive living army standing at attention. But, and this is the big twist, this unbelievable miracle, this is not the finish line, not even close. This is the starting line. Being raised from the dead isn't the prize. It's just the entry ticket for the race you were created to run.
So, if we're supposed to run, how do we do it? Well, Hebrews gives us a super clear game plan. It's like a runner's mandate. First, drop the dead weight. Anything that's slowing you down, get rid of it. Second, be ruthless about the sin that always seems to trip you up. And third, you got to run with perseverance. This isn't a 100-meter dash, it's a marathon. It's all about endurance.
But here's where so many of us get tripped up, right at the starting blocks. We get paralyzed. Paralyzed by fear, by this need to be perfect before we even start. We're always waiting to feel ready, waiting for the perfect moment. We act like we have forever to get going, but the truth is, we don't. So look, let's just be blunt about it. You have to start. Start when you're stuck, start when you're scared. Waiting to feel motivated is the biggest trap, because you probably never will. Think of it this way. Motivation is a great guest, but it doesn't live here. Discipline does. You just have to get up and go, whether you feel like it or not. Which all leads to the big question, doesn't it? If we have to go through the fire and run this crazy, difficult race, and we have to do it when we're scared and unmotivated, what's the secret? What's the one thing that keeps us going when every part of us just wants to give up? And the answer is surprisingly simple, but it's everything. We fix our eyes on Jesus. That's it. Our focus shifts. It's not on how well we're running or how tired we feel or how steep the hill is. Our focus is on him. After all, he's the one who started this whole faith journey in us, and he's the one who's going to see it through to the end. And just think about how he did it. I mean, how did he endure the cross? The Bible tells us he did it for the joy that was waiting for him. He wasn't focused on the pain of the moment. He was looking ahead to the reward, to the glory. He saw past the right now to the what's coming. And that focus is the ultimate blueprint for how we endure too. So we're back where we started, in a valley full of dry bones. Maybe it's your own life, maybe it's what you see around you. But that place of decay, it does not have to be the final chapter. It can be the place where a resurrection happens. Those dry bones can become a mighty army. So the only real question left is, are you ready to rise?